Good afternoon. So my topic for this week is education from the poorest region in the world. And when we say poorest, we almost always think of Africa, and that's where I'm going to go. And especially my focus is is mostly the girls' education in Africa, and in the under the topic of education, I chose health education because in Africa, as we know it, there are serious matters because of HIV/AIDS and other diseases. So before going into the topic, her name is Park Hye-jin, and she's a nurse who volunteered for Koika in Ethiopia, and so she was a school nurse there for about 2 years, and I had the chance to meet her during my class. And what she basically did in Africa was to teach children about sanitation, like health, how to be clean, and the basis is that most of these children in Africa, they don't even know how to use bathrooms. So all these like UN and other donors, they contribute a lot of money to build like schools and facilities for these children. But the thing is, what she said was that she saw children pooing next to the toilet because they don't know what the toilet is, even if it's there. So she had to teach them from very basic health knowledge, and that was very interesting because a lot of volunteers spend a lot of years in Africa teaching children and even adults about health issues. So my specific topic is girls in Africa and their health education. And also I focused more on this menstruation issue, what we call it as, there are many different words for period, bleeding, something else. And then, so this is a huge issue in Africa because it has various problems, and I'm going to explain those problems and how our education on health issue is going on in this society. So first problem is the barrier to education. Actually, this issue blocks the girls from going to school because since they don't have like proper pad or a preparation, they just miss school when they are during period. So there was a survey, does menstruation affect you while you're in school? It was done in Uganda, and most of the girls said yes, it does, and they usually they just miss school. And the next problem was health and sanitation, of course, because instead of pad, because they don't have pads, they use toilet paper or towels, which is okay, but sometimes in the poorest regions they use leaf, newspapers, or even just mud kind of materials instead of the pads. So it's very serious issue there because we cannot imagine us without like pad, tampons, or anything. And also the problem of attitudes and culture is there in Africa. Oftentimes there are discrimination between men and women in some countries in Africa. So when girls have period, it's considered like the curse from witches in some tribes, but it's not true. And but they get like separated from society because of those. So it's a very serious issue in Africa. So what kind of solutions are there? Actually, this is called She 28 campaign. It's 28 because the period, the duration is 28 usually. And there's a campaign going on between private corporations like Yuhan Kimberly, the toilet paper company, and then other international companies as well. and they teach these children in Africa to make self-made pads with fabric so they can use constantly, and then wash it and then reuse it. And that's what actually the school nurse I talked about, Park Hae-jin, she did at school. She taught children, the girls, to make their own pad and how to use them instead of other weird things. So my conclusion here is actually from a Snow lecture I watched. His name is Charles Leadbeater. He lectured about the education from the slum, and he mentioned Rio in Brazil, the poorest regions in the world, Kenya, and basically what he explained is that if the policymakers, the top higher level of people want education to actually take place in those poorest regions, there should be health education, government policies, and their education effectively implemented into those societies. So I believe that we should also be aware of these kind of issues, because even though we can't be a volunteer to teach children how to become clean and sanitary, we can contribute to sending pads, or we can contribute in any other ways. So I thought it was very important